Welcome to The Reset, a weekly dispatch of experiences and takes on performance and modern care. For the athlete, the practitioner, and the thinker, we break down recovery, health, and performance systems to reshape the conversation around wellness. Welcome everybody to the Reset audio files. Today's episode will talk about safety, the nervous system's language. Healing doesn't happen through effort alone. It begins when your body feels safe. This post explores how the nervous system governs recovery, growth, and transformation, and why fear or stress can stall progress, and simple ways to teach your body to trust so healing can flow. Learn how safety, not force, becomes the bridge to change in both rehab and life. I hope you enjoy. The Reset, Episode 25. Safety, the nervous system's language, where we examine the human need for safety and how our internal architecture builds trust with the external environment in creating a level playing ground of self-regulation. She sat on the edge of the treatment table, bracing for another session filled with assessment, treatment, and reassessment. We've been here before. Feel good for a couple days, wake up one day with shoulders tight, neck limitation and pain, and sometimes a headache. I could see it in her eyes, flicking toward the clock as if minutes might offer permission to release. As her patience for solving this issue dwindles, mine had all but gone. We'd done all the exercises, stretches, mobility drills, the right movements, yet her body remained guarded, like a gate locked from the inside. "It just won't let go," she murmured. And she was right. Her muscles weren't refusing to move, they were listening. Listening for a moment of safety, a moment where they felt in control again. It's a sensation we all know, whether in the clinic or life. Lying in bed after a long day, exhausted, trying to relax, but the mind keeps scanning for what could go wrong, what did go wrong. The body stays braced, and nothing softens. Healing doesn't respond to effort alone. And sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are at your job. There are a lot of variables in between your work as a therapist and the end goal of healing an injury. The body responds to trust. Until the nervous system believes it's allowed to let down its guard, the body will stay on edge. And that's where the real work begins. We talk about healing like it's a checklist. Stretch more, move better, do the thing. But the body doesn't care about treatment or movement if the environment it's being done within isn't prepared to accept it. You can't force muscles to soften or pain to leave when your nervous system still feels under threat, just like you can't open up to someone who doesn't feel safe to you. Your tissues won't open up under tension. Healing doesn't happen in the presence of fear. It begins in the moment where your body believes it's allowed to. When your breath slows, when your shoulders drop, and the alarms inside quiet down enough for the body to hear the message. You're safe now. In life, it's no different. Growth doesn't happen under threat. It happens in the presence of trust. Safety isn't the absence of challenge, it's the presence of support. So when the nervous system feels safe, it becomes a bridge instead of a barrier. And on that bridge, healing begins to flow. The human need for safety. Every human being, in rehab, in relationships, in life, is wired to seek safety before anything else. Before movement, before learning, before change. In physical therapy, people often think progress is about pushing limits. But if your body is constantly scanning for danger, it won't allow for transformation. I'm even guilty of this as a therapist. You want to get more, feel better, sooner. You want to heal the person you're working with, make them feel good. But if everything you do causes pain or discomfort, it will completely deter you from exploring it further, especially when the sensation is felt early in the process. There has to be a way to adapt and create a better suited environment to heal from. This is the gold nugget in my treatments that I always attempt to find. Where is our soft spot? The same is true emotionally. We can't build trust, creativity, or connection when we're braced for threat. We can't truly open up for further connection if we can't accept the position we're currently in. It's that understanding that allows us to clearly see the big picture. When we have a narrow focus, we miss the on and off ramps. This makes it supremely difficult to navigate. Safety is the soil where change takes root. Without it, the nervous system keeps the brakes on, no matter how much you want to move forward. This will be our stepping stone moving forward, identifying the level playing field where we understand our starting point and make peace with it, and start to strategize how we should shape the path forward towards a healthy body and mind. So therein lies the challenge, the work before the work. How can we successfully figure out where we should start the journey? And how do we get to the point where we are ready to begin the work after the work? It starts with trust. The body's architecture of trust. Our nervous system is the body's architecture of trust. It runs beneath every thought, emotion, and movement, always asking the same question: is it safe? This subconscious process is called neuroception, coined by Dr. Stephen Porges, founder of the polyvagal theory, and it describes a framework explaining how the autonomic nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve, influences our emotional states, social connection, and responses to danger without conscious awareness. When the environment feels supportive, calm, soft lighting, steady breath, the body leans into repair and openness. And this happens before we can imagine outcomes, prepare for the worst, and decide whether or not to move forward with caution or not at all. When the environment feels threatening, loud, noisy, pain, pressure, emotional stress, it shifts into defense through its polyvagal theory, which in turn causes an adverse response to negative outcomes in our lives, in our movement practice. Using these complex theories in my everyday practice can create an environment for healing, as they naturally intended. You can think of it like a dimmer switch. The body constantly adjusts how safe or on guard it feels, and that directly shapes how well we heal, connect, or perform. This is what I aim to disarm when treating pain with movement dysfunctions. The autonomic nervous system and the physiology of safety. Your autonomic nervous system is the body's control center for balance. It has two key branches that shape your internal landscape: the sympathetic nervous system, which activates fight, flight, or mobilization, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which supports rest, digestion, and repair. When the sympathetic system dominates, your body prioritizes survival. Blood flow moves to the limbs, heart rate rises, breathing becomes shallow, and muscle tone increases. When the parasympathetic system takes the lead, resources shift back to healing. Tissue repair, digestion improves, and the immune system rebalances. But if someone lives with chronic pain, stress, or emotional strain, the system can get stuck in survival mode. Even when danger has passed, the body doesn't get to relax, doesn't get the memo. It keeps scanning for threat. Muscles stay tense and healing slows down. In this state, rehab plateaus, not because of lack of effort, but because the nervous system feels unsafe. The work of healing, then, isn't just physical, it's neurobiological. We must teach the system safety over and over until the body relearns trust. So how do we do this? Downregulation, teaching the body safety. Downregulation means helping the nervous system shift from activation to calm. It's not about eliminating stress, it's about restoring flexibility between the two states so your system can move fluidly from one to the other. Evidence-based tools that support this include slow diaphragmatic breathing, which lengthens the exhale, stimulating the vagus nerve and activating the parasympathetic system. Humming or gentle vocalization. Vibration in the throat directly tones the vagus nerve, promoting calm and heart rate variability. And grounding cues. Feeling your feet, sensing weight in your body, how it shifts through your limbs, or scanning your environment for neutral details, all signal safety to the nervous system. Over time, these practices rewire your baseline, teaching your body that calm is not collapse and safety is not weakness. Take a look at the next portion of this blog, which will help guide you through a simple vagal tone exercise. This will help you understand the methods used in many cultures and practices around the world, from meditative and holy cultures to elite-level athletes and performers. There are many who spend a lifetime practicing these techniques in order to master their inner on-off switch for better health and performance, and this is a good start. Body practice, a simple vagal toning exercise. Try this 2-minute reset anytime you feel tense or stuck. Sit or stand tall, shoulders relaxed. Inhale gently through the nose for a count of 4. Exhale slowly through the mouth for a count of 6, letting the breath fall out instead of pushing it in. On the next exhale, add a soft hum. Feel the vibration in your throat and chest. Repeat this 5 to 6 cycles. Notice how your breath slows. Notice how your shoulders drop. Notice how your body begins to listen differently. Feel this change. Experience it. Pay attention to it. This is the body's language of safety. And when it feels heard, healing can finally begin. Wrapping up. When the sympathetic system dominates, the body prioritizes survival. When the parasympathetic system activates, resources return to the healing and balanced state. If someone is stuck in that fight mode, they will not give their body a chance to heal or adapt. It's going to hold a certain level of tone. This can only be combated with analysis and acceptance of the current state it's in. And it requires an honesty with yourself, an understanding of where you are and why you're there. That's why I always preach about treating the entirety of the system. As an injury consultant, if I can't consider the human being in front of me as a whole, I won't stand a chance in helping them. For those rare cases that fall into place, I'll get lucky, but typically that's not what happens. Back to my original case, only when I considered the external environment in which she was living in each day did we figure out the input on her system was just too overbearing for her to heal and trust her body's physical ability. When we decided to approach it in a different angle and take care of things that were having these effects on her externally, did her internal environment accept the work that we did and progress her forward into a healing state. This became my new mold, my practice. Open an ear and leave it open, for you never know what you might hear. In health and performance, Alex.